talking about what makes vibrato troubled, if we press too much, it's hard to get that movement of the joint, right? So a good vibrato is releasing the hand all the time. Who else tends to press too much?
The thumb.
Yeah. I call the thumb the usually the unwitting saboteur of so many things, intonation, vibrato, shifting, and he certainly is a killer of vibrato. If you are squeezing in with your thumb, it's very hard. So there are many thumb exercises. Did you ever do this one with me where you hold your left thumb with your right hand and then you tap it? Okay, and you can move your finger over and tap it and tap it. Just notice if your left thumb is trying to react. Hopefully not.
Oh.
And then do it in space. And if you see this happening, then that means your thumb is not independent of your fingers. So you want to be able to put the finger down without that thumb coming up. Just a tiny bit, it's trying to come up, right? So when you're sitting around, watching TV, you can hold this and just kind of get an amicable divorce, because pushing up with the thumb when you put the finger down, that's going to make a lot of extra stress for your hand, and it'll be not so good for the vibrato. That's one of the thumb exercises. I also like the exercise that is in Simon Fisher Basics, where you, did we do this one for forearm rotation? I think I remember showing you this. So thumb up, finger back, and then finger forward, thumb back. Yeah, try it. That looks good. Good, and do it a little faster and a little smaller. What do you see turning? Can you see anything turning? When my thumb moves, what moves in the rest of my arm? Might be hard to see.
A little bit index finger?
The forearm.
Oh, forearm?
Yeah, so when the thumb swings back, there's a tiny little movement at the elbow, and this forearm rotation makes a big difference to the vibrato. And now do it smaller so you feel a little bit of that. So when the thumb goes back, you feel that whole side. There you go.
There's muscles here?
Yeah. Okay, and now vibrate for real. Do you feel any of that movement? Right.
Oh.
It feels nice, right?
Yeah.
And a vibrato that is just arm will often just, like the thumb just stays like this, and then it doesn't have the amplitude, and it's really interesting. It's just never very satisfying.
And then I feel like when I can feel the movement, my thumb is not very squeezed.
Right.
That's when the time I can feel that.
Right. That's a classy vibrato. Another one in Simon Fisher Basics, I call the thumb spa, which is when you do, I think we did this, so. So thumb moves before, finger moves before thumb. Good. Can be a little lighter. So that's a nice exercise because we hardly ever do this position, right?
Yeah.
We might do this position, but we almost never do this position. Many years ago when this book came out and I found this exercise, I had this pain in, I don't know what this part of your hand is called, but anyway, whatever this is called in my palm. And this exercise fixed it. It just made that I've never been sore since. So thank you, Simon Fisher. I really appreciate this exercise, and it starts to have a nice dissolution of the extra tension that we often have between index and thumb, right? And then of course you can always, we don't have any space to do it here, but pretend I'm a wall, okay? And now put your, so she would put a cloth here. I'm the wall. She would put a cloth on the wall, and then she would lean into the wall to keep the cloth in place. And since she's leaning in, she doesn't really need the hand to support the fiddle, right?
Yeah.
And so you can do your scale or your passage without your thumb at all, and see what that feels like. Is there something from Stravinsky you'd like to do without your
I
thumb?
play a scale.
Okay.
And then should I put my thumb in the violin, or should I leave it
Try it just simply without.
without?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. What did you notice?
Oh, I feel like I don't need that much tension to press my finger to drop to the fingerboard.
So it felt easier, it felt lighter?
Yeah, much lighter.
So that's interesting. Play it again and see if you can keep any of that feeling. When the thumb is pressing, I recommend on a scale of 1 to 10, never more than 3. More than 3 and you're causing problems for yourself. And did that feel different than before?
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I really hear a difference in your sound. It's more ringing.
Yeah.
So probably you were doing a little bit of squeezing between your thumb and your fingers.
Yes, I did.
So I bet you will have even more fun if you don't squeeze. You can also do this if you don't have a wall, alternating. So on a down bow, you rest the fiddle in the V created by your index finger and thumb. Hopefully not but just a relaxed V, and the fiddle rests there and on your collarbone. And you take your head off, well, not all the way off. You take your head off the chin rest and you move it around. Then on the up bow, you put your thumb gently back in, right? You put your head gently back in and you take your thumb off. Head off, thumb off.
When I do this, should I do vibrato as well?
Yeah, try vibrato.
Okay. So.
I didn't see the thumb move.
Oh.
On the up bow, thumb comes off. Good. Thumb off. It's a weird feeling, right?
Yeah.
You've been used to that sort of security. But I think you don't need him as much as you're using him. Your thumb counter pressure is what I'm saying. So look for places, it's especially good in Bach. There's so many things where you really, really do not need to. I don't need much of anything, right? I certainly don't need my head in the instrument. So in Bach, often I release my neck, right? And also if I'm just doing an octave, do I really need the thumb squeezing in? Rest on the thumb, but don't counter squeeze.